What's up, interweb? Okay, today we're going to talk about quadratic functions. Now, quadratic functions are always in the form, I think we talked about this the other day, but ax squared plus bx plus c. And a cannot be 0. If this was 0, then you'd end up with bx plus c, which is a linear equation. So, if stupid boy, if a is greater than 0, in other words, positive, the parabola will open upward. Okay, it will open upward. And if a is less than 0, in other words, negative, it will open downward. Okay? Now, if a is greater than 0, in other words, positive, and b, the linear term, will shift the parabola. If it's positive, it'll shift it to the left. Does exactly the opposite of what you'd think it would be. And if that's if b is positive. If b is negative, it'll shift it to the right. I think I sent you a sheet on this. And if a is less than 0, in other words, negative, and b, this will shift the parabola to the right. And if b is negative, it'll shift it to the left. Okay? Okay. So if you have, remember, f of x is the same thing as y. If this equals x squared minus 4x minus 2, and also c is the y-intercept, just like ERCE. But that is not the bottom of the parabola necessarily. So if we have this, and if x is negative 2, we plug negative 2 in here, squared minus 4 times negative 2 minus 2. Okay, order of operation. So we have negative 2 times 4. And negative 4 times negative 2 is a positive 8 minus 2. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8 plus 8 minus 2. 8. Negative 8 plus 8 is what is it? Negative 2. So what we're doing here is make a box or a little chart here. So when x is negative 2, f of x, or the function of x, is what did I do wrong here? It's 4. I did this completely wrong. I'm sorry. When x is -2, we get -2 squared minus 4 times -2 minus 2. So we get 4 here. -4 times -2 is a positive 8 minus 2. 4 and 8 is 12. Minus 2 is 10. I'm sorry. So when x is -2, y is, or f of x is 10. Okay? So what we have to do here is we have to use some negative numbers and some positive numbers, because what we're going to get here is a parabola opening upward, because this is positive, and shifted to the right. It's going to look kind of like that. So when x is -1, you're going to have to trust me on this. Y is 3. When x is 0, y is -2. Then when x is 1, we have -5. When x is 2, -6, and so on. So what will this look like? -2, 1, 2, and 10 is about there. -1 and 3 is about there. 0, -2 is about there. Excuse me. 1, -5. 2, -6. That's going to be, well, I didn't do enough. Let's see, 2. 4 is -2. 5 is 3. And 6 is 10. Right? Right. Okay, so let's see, what did we do? 2, -6. This one's 2. -6 is there. 4, -2. 1, 2, 3, 4. -2 is about here. 5, that was 4, so 5, and +3 is about there, and 6 and 10 would be about there. So here we have our nice pretty parabola opening upward. Of course, we can do this on the calculator. Let me do it real quick for you. First, you turn it on, and it's already on y equals. Now we're going to plug in the original equation, which is x squared minus 4x, minus 2. Double check to make sure you entered it right. Graph it. And you can see that, as bad as my drawing is, we are pretty close to being correct. Okay. Now, what if we have this? Get this if you're so smart. F of x equals -2x plus 5x plus 3. Okay, so we're going to make our little chart here. X and f of x. So if we have -1, 0, +1, and 2. Okay, we plug -1 into here, and we get -4. Plug 0 into here, we get +3. Plug 1 into here, we're going to get 6. And plug 2 in, and we're going to get 5. This is what it's going to kind of look like. -1, -4 is going to be about here. 0, +3 is about here. 1, 6, over 1 up 6 is about here, and 2, 5, 1, 2, and 5 is about here. We should have done some larger numbers here, but I got tired and it was time for my nap. But believe me, it's going to look kind of like this. Okay? Because this is negative, it opens downward. Plus 5 means it's going to shift to the right. And this is the vertex. And this is the line of symmetry. S-Y-M-M-E-T-R-Y. Line of symmetry. Which means if you folded this thing over, this is the fold, this would line up exactly with this. Okay. Now the axis of symmetry S-Y-M-E-T-R-Y. The axis of symmetry, there's a formula for finding this. It is negative b all over 2a. Okay, this is the axis of symmetry. And what are we trying to find here? X. And that's wherever the axis of symmetry goes through the x-axis. And that's what we want. So if you have, let's say we had this formula up here. Negative 2x plus 5x plus 3. Okay? This is A, this is B, and that C doesn't come into play here. So our formula is negative B, so negative 5 over 2 times negative 2, which is negative 5 over negative 4, negative divided by a negative, so our axis of symmetry is 5 over 4. Okay. Now, in order to find the vertex, I sent you a sheet on how to do this on the graphing calculator. Let's see if we can find one that's a little bit more pleasing. So if we have f of x equals x squared minus 4x minus 2. Again, our formula is negative b. This one's a in front of here, which is 1. This is b. So it's going to be negative 4. Right? The formula says negative b. B is negative 4, so it's negative 4 over 2 times, and our a is 1. Minus a minus is a plus, or you can think of this as the opposite of negative 4, which is 4 over 2, so which is 2. Now remember, that's our x. Now in order to find the vertex, and again the vertex is this point right here. In order to find that, we know what x is. Now what we have to have is y. Now remember, f of x is the same thing as y. So let's use y here. Y equals, I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this, minus 4x minus 2. Now we're going to plug in 2, x is 2, wherever there's an x, minus 4 times 2 minus 2. Now we do order of operation, so we get 4 minus 8 minus 2, negative 4, -6. And that's our y. So our vertex here is 2, -6. Remember, they're always in the form xy. Let's see. Now, I sent you a sheet on this morning on how to do this on the calculator to find the vertex. First, you turn it on. Go to y equals, and we're going to put in x squared minus 4x minus 2. There's our handy dandy graph. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to calc. Second, and trace gives us calc. Now look, this is going to open upward, right? Because this is positive, A is positive, it's going to open upward. So we want to find the minimum. Number 3 is minimum. We hit number 3. Left bound. Now what we want here, we want 2 points that are on either side of there and there. It doesn't make any difference where they are. Just one on the left and one on the right. See, it says left bound. So we're going to move our cursor to about there, but it doesn't make any difference. Just somewhere on the left. Hit enter. Now it says right bound. So now we're going to want a point over here. So we arrow over, hit enter. Yes, we don't care about that. Hit enter again. Come on. Our minimum is, if you can see this, it says x equals 2 point blah 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 0.000015, and y is exactly -6. Now look, this is dangerously close to what number? 2. So our vertex here is 2, -6, which is exactly what we came up with here. Okay, isn't that cool? Cool. Okay. Okay. And again, I sent you a sheet on how to do this. If you're not sure, we can go over it again in class. Where are we? Clear. Turn it off. Okay. This is called synthetic division. T-H-E-T. Synthetic. There's two ways of doing this. I hope that this is going to be the easiest way to do this. Now, before we start, let's start by going back to 4th grade when we did regular division. 3 divided into 25. 3 won't go into 2, right? But it will go into 25 8 times. 8 times 3 is 24. Now remember, at this point, we change the sign, or we subtract with 1 left over. And our remainder is 1 over the divisor, which is 3. Now, if you can also do this by 14 divided into 168. Now look, we have 2 digits here. So we're going to start at the second digit. Okay, 14 obviously is going to go into 1, so we go into this one. How many times will 14 go into 16? Once. And we do 1 times 14 is 14. We change the sign here. I'm going to use my red. We change the sign. 16 minus 14 is 2. Bring down the 8. 14 into 28 is 2. 2 times 14 is 28. Change the sign. Our remainder is 0. Okay. One thing I wanted wanted you to get out of this is, how many digits do we have here? 2. So we're going to start in the second place. We're going to start there. Okay. Now, what if we have this? You're going to see one of these on the final. Thankfully, it'll just be one of these. X squared plus 2x plus 3 all over x minus 1. Okay, so we can do this. X minus 1 divided into x squared plus 2x plus 3. Okay, again, we have 2 digits here, so we're going to start here. Now, I'll give you a hint here. Wherever there's an x beyond this one, that's what that's going to be. It's going to be x. Now, x times what times this x is x squared, right? X times x, x squared. X times negative 1 is negative 1x. Draw the line, change the signs. Now, I know at first this isn't going to make a whole lot of sense. Just hang with me, it'll work. X squared minus x squared is 0. That's what we have to have here. We have to eliminate this. Now, 2x plus 1x is 3x. Bring down the plus 3. Don't forget the plus in here. Now, x times what is 3x? Or you can think of it, 3x divided by x is 3. 3 times x, 3x. 3 times negative 1 is a negative 3. Right? Right. Draw the line. And don't forget we have to change the signs here. Okay? So what we have here, 3x minus 3x, that's what we have to have. You have to eliminate this first term. And then 3 plus 3 is 6, positive 6. So our remainder is 6 over x plus 1. Okay? Okay. Now, they really don't get any more difficult than this. They just get longer. So what if we have this? 3x squared plus 10x plus 40 over x minus 4. So this is the same thing as, let me move my little camera here. My hand going to be in the way. X minus 4 divided into 3x squared plus 10x plus 40. Now we have 2 digits here, so we're going to start at the second term. This is going to be x. And now what we do is we take x and we multiply it by the divisor. Oh, wait. X times what gives us 3x? 3x. Now 3x times x is 3x squared minus, what is it, 12? 12x. 3x times x, 3x squared. 3x times negative 4, negative 12x. Draw the line. Change the signs. Well, you really can't see that that's very red, can you? A 3x squared minus 3x squared is 0. That's what you have to have here. That's the one thing that has to be. Now we have 10x plus 12x is what is it? 22x. Bring down the 40. Now, what times x is going to give us 22x? 22, right? 22 times x is 22x. 22 times negative 4 is a negative, what is it, 88? Something like that. Draw the line. Change the signs. 22x minus 22x is 0. That's what we have to have. That's the whole object here, is to get rid of this first term. Now the second one is 40 plus 88 is, I think 128, something like that. Okay, so our remainder is plus, don't forget the plus, 128 over x minus 4. Right? Right. We'll do a couple more of them in class, but that's probably all we need here. Okay? All right, y'all take care. I'll see you tonight. Bye-bye. Bye, Bonds.